Like my shirt? It's for Halloween, even though it's November 1st. But moving on to pages 86 and 87, Reveille. We talked a little bit about this last week, or I talked a little bit about it in the video. This is introducing the F chord. It's very similar to the C chord. Don't get it confused with the C chord because it has C on the top. It's an F chord because it's F-A-C, built up in thirds. You can play it broken or blocked. And at the top of page 86, you have the diagram that shows you the F-A-C. And the fact that there are thirds. From F to A is a third, and from A to C is a third, and that makes it a triad. A triad is always a chord, but a chord is not always a triad. And you don't have to remember that, but that's just a good rule of thumb. The next section on this page is an F chord warm-up. You're going to play F and C together, and then add the A. And that's just going to help you get used to playing all three of those notes together. You're already used to playing three notes at the same time because of playing the C chord. So don't stress out about it too much. Just make sure that you're in the right place. Also, that exercise there is written for the left hand, but I'd also like for you to play it through with the right hand. You can play it up an octave, and you can play it just to get the right hand used to playing the chords as well. And then Reveille uses only F, C, and A for the notes. And you've probably heard this tune before. And so forth. On the third line, the fourth line, measure 9, adds both hands are playing at the same time with the left hand playing the F chord and the right hand playing melody. So just that may be a tricky spot. And both hands play together from that point to the end. Go ahead and turn the page and go to page 88. This is arpeggios. Arpeggio is just a fancy word for a broken chord. It comes from it tells you there at the top in your little box. It comes from the Italian word for harp. So, since we're playing broken chords, that's an arpeggio. The exercise that you're going to do here is called a cross-hand arpeggio because you're going to cross your hands. You're going to take your left hand and play the F chord broken, and then you'll play the right hand with the chord broken, and then you cross your left hand over to play an F, and then come back down. You have two lines written here. One is, they're both the same, or very similar to each other. The dynamics are a little different. In the first line, you're still going to start mezzo forte and gradually get louder to forte. Notice the forte is right at the top. A lot of times you'll find your dynamic markings will sometimes go with the pitch of the note where it's going up. And then as it comes back down, the dynamic marking comes back down, and then you play the next line piano. Don't worry about playing the dynamics with this until you get the notes and rhythms down first. So this is just taking that F chord and breaking it up into F-A-C, and then the left hand crosses over to play that top F. So that's why it's called a cross-hand arpeggio. If you could look down at the bottom of the page, it's showing you a diagram of the keyboard, and if you would like to keep going with these cross-hand arpeggios and maybe have a different sound, you can move down to E. If you begin on E and you play all white keys, it's going to have a little bit of a different sound. It's what we call a minor chord. F chord on all white keys is a major chord. D is also a minor chord. And then if you want to do it on C, C all white keys is a major chord. So that will give you more practice with the cross-hand arpeggio by starting on different notes. Just start on a different note, it should feel the same. You're just going to be reaching for a different note when you go for the cross your left hand over. I guess you got your pedal problem fixed. That was really odd. I don't know if I've ever seen that exact problem, but I would be curious to know, like, if it was just turning it on and off or off and on or that sort of thing. If you have any questions about these pages, work on Reveille and the crosshand arpeggios, and keep working hard.